sewing friends. For today's episode, I'm doing something a little bit different. There's not going to be any sewing projects to show you or any plans. It's going to be connected to episode 13, my sewing confession. If you haven't seen that, you might want to hop over and have a look at that either before or afterwards, because what I'm going to talk about today will make a bit more sort of sense if you see that. And I've been thinking a lot since I shared my sewing confession, which is all related to how I store, organise, misstore my fabric stash, haul, collection, whatever you want to call it. So today I thought I would just have a bit of a chat with you. I have got a drink. I know people are a little bit divided on that, but let's give it a go. Let's see. And so I thought I'd have a little chat with you about my thoughts. I've done a lot of driving this weekend and it's allowed me time to think. And then hopefully we can cut to some action of the start. So thank you very much to everybody who commented on episode 13. There were some wonderful comments. It ranged from shock and horror to, oh my goodness, how much, and does the person who lives with you not know this and notice this living in the house with you, to I feel seen. And that's the thing about sewing, any hobby, just being a human being, is we'll always find people that are our tribe and people that find it hard to compute. I was talking to someone yesterday who says that they wonder if they aspire to that, only having the few bits of fabric for the next few projects, and do I want to ever get to that? And honestly, I thought about it while we were talking, and whilst I like the idea, I actually don't want that, because I love the creative process of combining things and thinking through what's to come. And you may notice with some of my sewing projects, they're not just one fabric, and they might be sort of a process as I go along. And I couldn't do that if I only had the next few fabrics for my project. There are dresses like I'm wearing today, which I have worn before, which is a Patina House black hack into a dress, and I'll pop a picture here if you haven't seen it. It's one of my favourite ones that I've done. And this is just one straightforward fabric, but often I like to play with the fabrics. I like to do a refashion, and that means I need to get fabrics out and try, and that's often where the mess and the swirl comes from. But I also don't always know, or may not sew straight away, and I might find a pattern and enjoy rummaging around to find something that will suit it, or I have a fabric and enjoy searching for the right pattern. I had an epiphany in the car yesterday about a fabric I bought, and now what I want to sew with it, and I've been mulling it for ages. So for me, this isn't about trying to get to a very small or limited amount. I'm also someone who's always got lots of different hobbies, and so it will never be that, because it depends on what I'm creating and what I'm doing as well. But I don't like it the way it is, and I don't know if I fully realise that. I'm just going to try moving this a bit, see if that's better. I think that's better. And I don't think I realised how much I didn't like the state it's got into until I shared my confession with you. It gave me a chance when I was editing it to look back and think. I mostly know everything I've got, so I'm not worried that I'm particularly missing something, but it is a pain to get out and put back. Whilst I have tried to organise them by type, so when I shared it with you, most of my vintage sheet collection is together, most of the second-hand tablecloths are together, most of the dressmaking fabrics are together, all the fat quarters are together. However, I don't like folding. I've tried for years folding. I also tried using, in that wardrobe behind, one of those IKEA trouser hangers and folding them over that. That didn't work for me. I have seen recently a lot of people doing the rolling technique, and I've tried that, and I do think that might be better. The storage I have here and in the other room, the rolling will definitely work. I'm a big fan in my clothes storage of the Marie Kondo style of folding, where everything stands up in drawers so you can see it all. I don't have drawers for my fabric, so actually the rolls would mean I could see the ends of all of them, and you could slide one out, I think. So I'm definitely up for thinking about rolling. So the decision I have made whilst driving a lot this weekend is I want to get out all the fabrics, but all my main fabrics that are for dressmaking, I want to get them all out, and then I'm going to decide whether to sort them by type, length or colour. In my wardrobe, I sort by type. So my wardrobe, I did it a good few years ago and that really works. I now never get the swirl. I used to get the swirl of the tights. Oh my goodness, I don't know if anyone else gets that, where it's like a spider's web as you try to get one pair out. The Marie Kondo folding style, I'll put a picture in here, changed my world. So I've cracked my wardrobe. I just need to do the same with my sewing storage. And I know if I crack it, it will work and I will never go back, but I clearly haven't. I have no guilt over what I have. I just want to organise it better so I don't end up with, I'll just turn this way for you. I know those of you in my confessions knows this is the where am I going to put it pile, because it's all washed, it's all ironed, or it's there from a recent what's that on that fabric there, from a recent, like, which one do I want to use. So if you saw the Busy Bee Challenge 1 introduction where I was deciding which trouser fabric to use, they're neatly folded, but they're here because it was just, it didn't bringing joy is the wrong thing about putting things away. I don't know, maybe you out there find joy in putting things away. I do not, apart from my tights, etc., in my Marie Kondo folded tights drawer. Maybe that's the answer. But for me, putting the fabric back after the joy of choosing which one is not joyful. And I don't really need it to be joyful. I just need it to be easy. And the thing I learned about myself a long time ago is if things have the right kind of home or the right kind of place, I will put it back. But if they don't, I won't. And that's what's going on with my fabric at the moment. And I don't know why it's taken me this long car journey to match up every other aspect of my life with my fabric. I use the little white IKEA boxes all around my kitchen and much of my home. I'll get one and show you. They're like this with a little lip at the front. I know some people put labels on them. I have many of those in my kitchen with like rice packets in, so you can just lift the box down, choose what you want, fill it up, put them back. I'm just looking at it now. It's time. So for the rest of this video, there's going to be some stop motion, speeded up, maybe a bits of talking where you can watch me getting it all out, having a look. Maybe you can spot some things that you could tell me what you think I should make with them. I think it's time. So I'm taking a risk actually putting it all out, because you could walk into that room and it could be a bit more confronting. You might want to predict now what you're going to see, predict now what I'm going to decide. You could do that for yourself before we get to that part. I don't know 100% how this will go, because as I go along, I will make some decisions. As I do other things, it gives me space to think about it. But let's do this. I bet you wasn't expecting to see me back so quickly and in the same outfit. Yes, it is the same day, but I've already had a realisation. I don't want to put it all out in one room at the same time, because don't want it to feel overwhelming. This is not about looking at how much I've got. This is not, I'm not doing a Marie Kondo like sort your life out, or a Stacey Solomon, love her by the way. I'm not doing a sort your life out. I don't need it all out to be confronted with what I've got. I know what I've got. This is about sorting and organising, and I already know that I want my jersey fabrics all together. I already have most of those, or pieces of those, in a box, and then the rest stacked up. So the first decision I've made is I'm going to do certain types first and get those rolled up, and maybe they might go into a temporary storage part as I clear other bits out first, so that it doesn't become this all overwhelming thing. I don't know if anyone else finds that, but when you have a big sort out, you reach that point of no return, and it's quite distressing. I don't know if anyone else finds that. I get to that point where I'm like, I can't go back, but I've got to go forward. And I've changed the way I do a lot of sorting because of that. I do really want to think about it as I'm doing it. I know you wasn't expecting me to come back quite so quickly, but that's why. So now, let's get on. So, first of all, I said I was going to go for rolls. I think the answer to that is yes. Have a look at that. What a thing of amazing wonder is that. But I have reached the point, I think, of no return. Over there are some tablecloths, some vintage tablecloths. So I'm going to decide I'm going to put all of those together. Over here are like duvets and thrifted and vintagey things, so I'm going to have those separately. This was what I was carrying it in. So I think now, before I do anything else, I should check there's nothing else to go in the rolled pile, and then start organising the other things as well, and actually try and put this away. Okay, so I have emptied out the cupboard behind me and most of the other two rooms that I showed you in the video. It's not all done, but I thought I'd show you. So this is a stack of vintage fabric. Obviously there's the florals which are in the other room, but we've got some amazing 80s stripe there, some 70s safari which I've made a skirt from, and lots of other stripes. That is my stack of, let's just move this tripod out of the way. That is my stack of duvet covers and curtains, all bought from charity shops. A lot of stripes, a lot of checks, there's sailboats at the bottom. This is my rolled log pile of tablecloths. There's some seersucker, some thicker ones, etc. in there. And then we have here the finished rolling, which I'm really happy with. I'll come down so you can have a good look at what's going on there. There's definitely fabrics you will recognise in there. There's a few rolls downstairs. That's the rest of the rolls. That bag there is all the small bits. So now I'm going to show you the cupboard. So I've kept all the plains. A lot of them are flat quarters, some of them are bigger on that shelf. I have got some upholstery type fabric there, but then there's a big space here. This whole space here, obviously at the top is the Christmas fabric that you saw before. I'll just take you to the other room. So that is the jersey shelf. There's the rest of the vintage fabrics. Bottom shelf needs, that's fabric pens and stuff there, but there's that there. So now it's time to put everything away in the best way I feel I want to. So let's see how we go. So I did it. You will be able to see pictures which I'll put in as I'm talking now. First of all, it was a lot less traumatic than I thought it was going to be, but I think that's because I did what I do in other parts of my life. It broke it down to sections, so it wasn't one giant overwhelming thing. It was lovely to touch and feel and look at my fabric, and actually I knew almost everything I had, which was very reassuring. I'm feeling quite inspired as well, so it definitely helped with that as well. I am delighted with the rolling technique. It is definitely one for me. I did have to get the length right. I had to re-roll several, but I have now in the cupboard behind me, I'll put a picture in now, have all my sort of vintage slash second-hand items. There's a shelf of vintage sheets, a shelf of all the duvets, and a shelf of all the rolled tablecloths, plus a few of my sort of thicker fabrics. And then I'll put a picture in now. This is the one that wasn't far off being right anyway. This is sort of my jerseys. And then on the bottom shelf I've now put all the flat patterns. They were somewhere else, they kept sliding off, so that's great, all the pattern pouches. And I'm very happy with how that's worked out. And then the last picture, which I'll put in now, is how I've organised all the dressmaking, all the other fabrics. So they're all rolls, and I did them by type slash amount. So one cubby is all the shorter amounts that would only make tops, etc. One cubby is the main sort of bigger lengths for dresses and sort of the viscouses and things like that. And then the top cubby is the thicker fabric, so the satines, the twill, or interesting fabrics. And I'm really happy with how I've sorted them, because the ones at the top are the ones I'll reach for least, and because they're higher and harder for me to get because I'm not very tall, and that works really well. So I'm really happy with that. What I'm pleased to say, what I'm left with is one bag, which is over there, which is like a sort of a beach bag of little bits. But I'm not incorporating them with that shocking box downstairs. That is still to go. I'm going to do that another day, because I do want to make another patchwork jacket, so I can do that as part of that. And I think I need to work out what can go from in there, but that's a different task. So I'm really happy. Rolling's the way to go. Sorting kind of by type, definitely not by colour, that doesn't work. And I just feel now I can tidy the rest of the space. And then, as discussed in, I think it was my sewing confessions or the one after, I'm then going to set myself a no shop thing starting, I think, probably August, apart from plains. I'm going to try and go August, September, October. I'm going to try and go 3 months. only planes allowed. So fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed coming with me on this journey. This is not a toothpaste stain down the front, it is a lightsaber. I just realised it looks like a toothpaste stain. I was like, it's not. But I hope you enjoyed that. Do drop a message down below, a comment of whether it turned out how you thought it was going to, or if you've got any other tips about rolling, etc., to get the right lengths or anything like that. But have a great week, and I'll see you soon.